When you talk about a regional opponent, we talk to our kids about leaving this game with their gas tank on E. Yesterday, Chris Duckworth gave a ministry talking about exhausting yourself. And that's what our focus was we had to sell out every possession, every second that we were out there. We had to make winning decisions and winning plays. We talked about through adversity. We talk about NBA action, next best action, control what you can control, let go of the next play. The number one thing we talked about was they were something like 35, fifth in the nation in free throw attempts. And we talked to them about coming into our house and us attacking that paint. If the reversal three was there, if the paint touch three was there, if we had 10 toes to the rim, take it. Otherwise, attack the closeout and get to the paint. I was proud of our young ladies. We had 34 paint points, but more importantly, we had 30 free throws. We had continuity through substitution. We had kids come in the game and understand their role, not try to do too much, but again, they understood the resounding part that we were trying to get was getting to that free throw line. Unsung heroes a little bit. Mia Gaines, even before Carmen was hurt, Mia had moved up in the rotation because she had a couple of really good days of practice. She was intentional about what she was doing, and she came in and made some really big plays on an undersized team in there. Indy, Janiyah, they were beautiful on the boards through there. We knew what Kayla and AK were going to give us in terms of running our stuff, getting off the attack and getting shots into the paint and shooting the open paint. But I want to talk about my leader. When you look at a stat line, sometimes her percentages aren't going to blow you away. But what TT is doing in terms of being the motor of our team, when you go through her stat sheet, it's a little bit of everything. And she's going to have a triple-double before this is over with. But when you look at the steals, when you look about, she's only about 90 pounds, but she's throwing her body in there, getting rebounds, attacking the boards on both ends, and leading our team. She's done a tremendous job of that. And I tell her all the time, you can have captains, but leaders, the table shifts to you. And she's one of our leaders. She's not the most outspoken, but she has her way of leading, and I'm really proud of her effort today. I could go through the lineup. Karis Allen coming back in and knocking down free throws, letting the game come to her. Little long-winded intro, but I'll let y'all ask some questions.
You touched on it a little bit, but what did you see out of the team today that stood out to you the most, if you could pinpoint one thing?
Matt, it was just our energy. It was just our energy was a little different. And guys, understand this. We've been inching closer and closer. And that's the thing, that they've stayed together. They're not dropping their heads. These kids are fighting. They're challenging each other after. I've never had a team put up plus minuses on their own before coaches get in there. The culture is there. They're coming along, and I tell them, it's the man in the arena. Block out all the noise, clear the mechanism, and it's about us getting to work one step at a time and not looking outside of that, but just staying together. But I thought our energy was really good. Executing the game plan was much better today and not falling too far off from that. That was the difference that I saw today.
Thank you.
Well, you talked about managing the energy and a lot of highs and lows in that game, especially with all the fouls that were being called. Can you talk about how did you guys manage that energy? I mean, you talked about, leaving the gas tank on E when you hit the court, but just in terms of the in-game emotion, things weren't going your way when it came out to a hot start in the fourth. What were you, the coaching staff, some of the players doing to make sure that, that energy's there, but it's contained?
Tempo. We're really working on pace, and this is going to be a higher possession game. I know we had almost 20 more possessions than them, and so depending on the matchup, that controlling possessions is going to be important for us. So we want to step on the gas when we have a chance to clearly finish. If not, we want to make them run longer and make them have to guard us through the shot clock a little bit more. Same on the defensive end. Make them run their offense, and we're doing a little bit better job of staying in front of folks, on that. But our bench was tremendous. Kennedy's been out right now, but she's kind of the leader from our bench, and she's making sure they're locked in. She's making sure we're sprinting out on the court, coming to pick folks up. But we held our composure. One got away from us in a celebratory act. I'm okay with that. You can't turn in a kid's face. We saw that on the national landscape the other night. But the call was correct, because while we were aggressive and celebratory, you can't do that in a player's face. And I explained that to my kids. But I love the fact, I love the passion, I love the emotion. I love that from my bench. I love being told to sit down. I don't like looking over there and it's just quiet and stiff. That's the energy that we have to bring those 5 kids on the floor to get them home, and that's what it should look like every day.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about earlier, you guys have been kind of inching closer and closer, and you've had some close games where you fought until the end.
Yeah.
What was maybe the tipping point in this game? Like you said, you've had those games, you're getting closer and closer. What happened today to kind of get you guys over that finish
I
line?
thought our offense-defense was good. I was trying to manage Indy and Mia at the end, and I probably almost let that get a little away. 21 went on a little roll right there, and that's when we had to call the timeout and get reset. But once we had our bigs in there, we were back on the boards, and we were able to come down and run offense. And so I think that was the biggest thing of we didn't panic. Nobody felt like they had to do it on their own. We hit a big shot. I forgot whose it was. It might have been Kate. One of them hit a big shot towards the end that was open off a reversal, and that kind of got us rolling. And then, like I said, the free throws at the end, that was huge.
Right. And then last thing to wrap up, Coach, you got a healthy break here before your next game. You're at Bradley on the 18th.
Yep.
A lot of things can happen during these couple weeks. That'll be the first conference game. You're coming off a lot of travel from the non-con schedule. Just what is an ideal, these next couple weeks, what does it look like ideally for you and your squad to be best prepared going into that Bradley game on the 18th?
Well, I tell you what, the first thing that we're going to do is knock these books down. I think that's our next challenge. Is finals are coming up. I like the fact that we have this break. We can take a couple days to really lock in academically, go to office hours, all the stuff that we got to do to make sure we're prepared for finals. This is a good group, so I'm not worried about them with that. It does give us a chance to recover a little bit, get some preventive stuff done in terms of our bodies with aches and pains. But we're going to be right back to the drawing board with that. We'll add in a couple wrinkles on different things, but it gives us a time to prepare for our next opponent. And we got one more before, well, we got two more coming up, but that Missouri Valley game, we'll be prepared for that, and it's going to be a true test for us, but our first test is finals.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.